My husband looked me dead in the eyes and said our daughter wasn't his. After 8 years of marriage, after 14 hours of labor, after every diaper and midnight feeding together, he questioned if Emma was his child. Sunday dinner at his mother's should have tasted like rosemary and peace. Instead, Jake stared at his plate, pot roast cooling untouched. Margaret lifted old photos to Emma. The Anderson nose, those Jackson eyes, heirlooms passed down in features. Then a pause mid-sentence, a glance at Jake, a flick to Emma, a quick change of subject. I caught it, a hairline crack of doubt across her face. On the drive home, Emma slept, rabbit tucked under her chin. "She doesn't really look like me, does she?" Jake asked, knuckles whitening on the wheel. The laugh died in my throat before I knew I'd started it. I thought he was joking. He wasn't. His jaw locked, eyes avoiding mine. "I'm serious, Amy. Everyone says she looks just like you." "No one ever says she looks like me," tallying every comment like a mark against me. Against me, like I'd committed some crime by giving birth to a child with my features. I told him that was insane. Lots of kids favor one parent, but Jake said, "Your sister's husband probably wonders the same thing I do." That comment sliced through me. Did he just accuse me of infidelity? I wanted to scream, but Emma was right there, breathing softly with her fingers curled around Mr. Hoppy. So I stayed quiet, watching streetlights blur past, pulse hammering in my temples. The next morning, I hoped he'd apologize. Nope, he was cold, distant. He kissed Emma's forehead, lingered a second too long, but barely glanced my way. This wasn't just a weird moment. Something had been festering. His father had the same pattern, Margaret once told me, blaming others when his own career stalled. Like father, like son. For 2 weeks, he performed the loving dad act in front of Emma. Tickle fights, bedtime stories, the whole show. But once she went to bed, he'd retreat to his office. No TV together, no conversations. Just silence, walls humming, the clock striking like a verdict. Then one night, I brought him coffee. The screen glowed in the dim office. He didn't minimize it. In the search bar, paternity test near me. Beside it, how accurate are DNA tests? Can mothers fake paternity results? Part of me wanted to throw that coffee in his face, but I was just tired of defending myself against unspoken accusations. So I sat down, placed the mug with a deliberate clink, and asked, "Do you want a paternity test?" He looked shocked, then nodded. Like this was reasonable. I said yes, and I made a decision right then. Fine, we'll test, and after that, we talk about trust and consequences. He looked relieved, like I'd given him permission to drop this weight. That's when I knew I needed my own evidence. Fair is fair. The test arrived 3 days later in plain cardboard, ashamed of its own purpose. Emma thought the cheek swab was a game, giggling, asking to swab Mommy too. My heart cracked watching her innocent face while knowing what this meant. The cotton tip felt rough between my fingers, a tiny instrument with massive weight. Jake sent the samples, express shipping. 3 to 5 business days. That night, after Emma went to bed, I sat at the kitchen table with a blank sheet of paper, drew 3 lines, wrote 3 conditions. When Jake came downstairs for water, I slid it across the table without a word. He picked it up, reading, 1. Individual therapy, 12 sessions, proof of completion. 2. No contact letter to any outside relationship immediate, signed copy provided. 3. Digital transparency for 90 days, calendar, messages, location shared. His face went pale. "Amy, I haven't. The test isn't the end, Jake. It's the beginning. These are non-negotiable, regardless of results. He nodded slowly, folded the paper, put it in his pocket. For once, he had nothing to say. Day 1, 17 inbox refreshes, coffee untouched, spoon tapping time. Day 2, Jake brought me daisies. Something he hadn't done in months, like he was preparing for an apology or preparing to leave. Day 3, I couldn't eat. Everything tasted like cardboard. Emma asked if I was sick. I helped her make cookies instead, breathing in butter and sugar while she licked the spoon. That contrast her joy against my dread nearly broke me. Day 4. Everything changed. My best friend Sarah called. At lunch, she had that look, the one that destroys worlds. She ordered wine before noon. Sarah never drinks during the day. Amy, I need to tell you something. I wanted to tell you that night, but I talked myself out of it. I'm so sorry. 2 months ago, she saw Jake at Murphy's pub near his office, with a blonde woman in a red dress, not just talking close, too close, laughing, touching, his hand on her lower back, her fingers on his arm. The body language that screams, "We're together." Sarah showed me a photo, timestamp, 8:47 p.m., September 14th. A Thursday, Jake texted, saying he had to work late on a client proposal. There he was, arm around this woman, both looking at each other like they shared the world's best secret. The man questioning if his daughter is his has been cheating on me. For 3 months he'd been pulling away, building suspicion, and 2 months ago, the affair was already visible enough to photograph. I drove home in a daze. Jake was watching ESPN like everything was normal. Emma ran up asking to make more cookies. I said yes, staring daggers at Jake over her head. That night, after Emma's bedtime, I walked in and slid my phone across the coffee table. The photo filled the screen. His face went from confusion to recognition to panic in 3 seconds. He tried explaining. She was Rachel from marketing, innocent, team bonding, didn't want me to worry. The excuses tumbled out like he'd rehearsed them. I didn't care about excuses. I cared about the timeline. When did you start seeing her? Just after work drinks over the past 3 months. 3 months. The same 3 months he'd been questioning Emma's paternity. Then it clicked. He needed me guilty to launder his own guilt projection, and I was done footing the bill. If he could cheat, surely I must have too, right? This test wasn't about proving Emma's paternity. It was justifying his own betrayal. I asked point blank, "Did you sleep with her?" Silence, that thick silence confirming everything. His eyes dropped. "It was only once. I was drunk, she was there. It didn't mean anything." "Stop. Don't insult me further." Day 5. The results arrived at 10:23 a.m. Jake's hand trembled opening the envelope. Paper rasped, his breath snagged. The room held its breath with him. 99.9% probability that Jake Anderson is the biological father of Emma Anderson. He looked at me, tears forming, trying to apologize. Said he'd been stressed, paranoid, stupid. Loved Emma, loved me, all a huge mistake. Wanted to explain Rachel, assure me it was just once. But I took that paper, folded it neatly, and put it in my purse. The proof he weaponized became Exhibit A of him. Then I booked an Uber, called my sister. "Ava, we're coming tonight. No explanations needed." Jake panicked, started making promises. He'd end things with Rachel, block her, request a transfer, go to counseling, individual therapy, couples therapy, anything. But I was upstairs packing Emma's stuffed animals and clothes. Mr. Hoppy, her star blanket. Emma woke confused. Why were we packing? I knelt down. We're going on an adventure to Aunt Ava's house, sweetie. Just you and me. She believed me. Kids always believe their parents, even when we're lying to protect them. We didn't need that test. Emma is his daughter, but his guilt made him question everything. His affair made him project betrayal onto me. Now, even though the test proves he's her father, trust is gone. The marriage is broken. Emma will grow up knowing her dad doubted she was his. The craziest part? His mother called yesterday. Jake confessed everything, hoping she'd convince me to come home. But Margaret asked to meet for coffee. At a small cafe, Margaret held both my hands across the worn wooden table. She looked tired, older than I'd ever seen her. Amy, that boy has always run away from his mistakes by blaming others. When he was 10, he broke a neighbor's window playing baseball, blamed his older brother, let him take the punishment while he watched. I found out weeks later. I thought I'd taught him better, but she fingered the silver cross at her wrist. An apology isn't the principal on a debt, honey. It's just acknowledgement. He owes you repair. You deserve better. Emma deserves better. And if my son can't see that, he deserves to lose you both. I cried then. Finally cried. Having his own mother validate my decision lifted a weight I didn't know I was carrying. Now I'm at my sister Ava's. Watching Emma color pictures, she's drawn Aunt Ava's dog in a superhero cape, while Jake blows up my phone. 23 texts in the last 2 hours. My lawyer says I have a strong case. The paternity test he insisted on will work in my favor. The document, showing his pattern of accusation and control, plus the text records, the photo evidence, the timeline of emotional abandonment. Irony of ironies. My friends ask what I'll do. Honestly, I'm weighing 3 paths. Option 1. File for legal separation immediately. Establish custody arrangements. Temporary restraining order if needed. Financial separation, clean break. Option 2. 6-week observation period with strict conditions. He completes individual therapy documented. I do the same. We reassess with a mediator, but no promises. He doesn't come home until I'm ready, if ever. Option 3. Co-parenting agreement only. We share custody, but live separately. Stay legally married for now, but function as separate households. For Emma, we maintain civility. Nothing more, no reconciliation attempts. I'm leaning toward option 1. But 8 years doesn't disappear overnight. The man I loved is buried under lies and insecurity and whatever midlife crisis he's having. But I know this. I'm not the one who should apologize. I'm not the one who broke our family. He wanted proof Emma was his. He got it, but in getting that proof, he lost everything else. He burned the bridge himself. Do I rebuild it for him? Or build a new one for my daughter and me? So, let me ask you, if you were in my position, what would you do? Would you try salvaging it with strict conditions? Walk away completely? Co-parent but never forgive? How do you rebuild trust with someone who not only cheated but tried making you the villain in their own story? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I could use the perspective. Sometimes when you're in the storm, you can't see the way out. Maybe you see something I can't. And to anyone going through something similar, you're not crazy. Trust your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. The person accusing you of cheating might be telling on themselves. Projection is real and cruel. This is my story. Maybe it's yours too. Or maybe it's a warning for what happens when trust breaks down and guilt gets weaponized. Thank you for listening. It helps knowing I'm not alone. What would you do?